So today we're speedrunning through Super Mario Run, which is actually a much cooler speedrun than you might think. Now we're going to start out with 1-1, but the timer won't start until we start moving. And then right away you're going to see that we're actually playing as Toad instead of Mario. The reasoning behind this is just because Toad is the fastest character in the game, so obviously we're going to want to play as him. And then we're going to use some small tricks to go a bit faster, like that slope right there. There are several of these tricks as we're going through the run, and some are going to be a lot harder than others. Like this one right here where we're going to want to jump off that Goomba so we can get that star. And the star power up is always going to make you go faster, so we're going to want to get as many as possible. And that's also the reason why we chose purple coins for this level, because choosing that is the only way to get that Goomba at all. But there we go, that's 1-1 done. And you may also notice that our timer actually paused. And that's because the timer only goes when we're actually playing through the levels, just to make it a little bit more fair. But now it's time for 1-2, where we're going to be underground, and you're going to see us go between those Goombas very specifically. Then after this, we just have some normal stuff. I mean, to be completely honest, this level isn't the hardest thing in the world. There are a couple tight jumps, but they don't lose too much time if you don't hit them. And we have things like this slope, where of course that's going to give us a ton of speed, so we're going to want to carry that momentum into a jump. Then also we have this cool point where we're going to want to cause our character to go backwards so we don't have to slide against the wall. Yeah, if you didn't know, you can actually kind of go backwards when you're doing jumps in this game, and there will be some really cool areas where we're going to use this tech and make ourselves go a whole lot faster. Now finally we can finish out 1-2 right there and make it to the flagpole, completing another level. It's now time for 1-3, and this time it's one of the sky levels. Now there is the cool addition of these things that give you a huge jump and boost of speed, which you could see right there. We did a tiny jump and then we could hit the Paracoopa, making our speed boost even longer. And then there's also the red coins, which we can get all of those, and then we're going to get a free star power up. So of course that will also be nice, and we can combine the two to make ourselves go as fast as possible. Then right here we have a couple more of these jump things, but I am going to want to do a small jump right there so we don't actually go too far and kill ourselves, and instead we can just make it to the end as fast as possible. But that's another level done. Let's move on to 1-4. Now 1-4 is going to be our first Bowser level, and in this you can see they have now added in these jump things, which will make you jump backwards. Obviously, since we're speedrunning and we don't want to go backwards at all, we're going to try to make sure we never jump on those. They're going to be scattered throughout the level, and they are so you can get all the collectibles, but who cares about collectibles when you're trying to go fast? Now in general, this level isn't too tough. We're just basically trying not to get stopped by anything. We can just make our way through all of the different guys and try not to get hit by the fireballs, but as long as we're just going straight forward, we'll be fine. Finally, we get a little Bowser cutscene, and we actually want to wait like half a second before we start moving. That way we don't get hit by Bowser, because that would waste a little bit of time. And there we go, he turns into a Goomba, and we now completed our first Bowser castle, which then leads us into 2-1, which is going to be one of the most technical and luck dependent levels in the game. Like right here, I'm going to want to do the backwards jumps to make it to this door, and every time the door you have to take is going to be different, so we're kind of just hoping we choose the right one, because you won't always see the door shaking animations before you do it. That time we did, we saw both the side doors were not the ones we want to go into, and we could choose the middle one, so we actually did this really quickly. A lot of the times you're just going to get unlucky, and since you want to go fast, you don't want to wait at all to see the door animations. But that was a really good 2-1, and now we can move on to 2-2, which this one has these platforms which actually will stop you and then move, so you can see it do it right there. And we can actually use a cool trick right here where we're going to bubble there and then skip a bunch of the level, or I guess not really a bunch of the level, just a tiny bit, but it does make us go a little bit faster and is a really cool trick. Now in general, after that point, there aren't too many more tricks. All we have to do is not get hit by these different things, and as soon as we touch these platforms, we want to jump off them because they do stop our momentum, so we want to stay off them as much as possible. But it's pretty much just dodging through some things, trying not to get hit, and of course we can bounce off them as well. Before we make it onto these platforms, jump off that right away so we can take this lower one, and then finally make it to the flagpole. And so far, I just have to say, this run has been going really well, and hopefully we can keep that going with 2-3. Now for this one, we have all these bats which we're going to have to dodge, and one thing I do right there is I jump up there to bait him out so he doesn't hit me lower on the ground. Then after this, we can get this coin. We don't really need it, but hey, you might as well. And then we also get some more red coin stuff, where basically it's just pretty much the same as always. Get all the red coins, get the star, and be able to go faster. And then we also have another cool trick where we're going to use the bubble again to make ourselves go faster and make it straight to the pipe. I don't really know why it works that way, but it does, and hey, I'm gonna take it. Now finally we made it out of the pipe, and all we have to do is make it to the flagpole, which is going to be another level done. And now it's time for 2-4, which is actually one of the levels where I have reset too many times on. It's because this level is extremely easy to get hit on and lose your momentum, causing you to fall into one of the the gaps. But what I can do right here is get this star, and then we're pretty good for the rest of the level. We don't really have to dodge anything anymore. All that matters is that I don't fall down and waste any time. So finally, our star power up is going to run out, but we're already at the end of the level. I just have to dodge through these ninjas, and it's time to take care of the boss. Now, this boss is actually one of the easiest things in the world. First of all, we jump off him once. Once he starts getting up, we jump on him again, and then finally we can wait one more time, jump on him a third time, and that is going to be the boss. Yeah, it's literally that easy. Don't worry, we'll see him some more later. And now it's time for 3-1. This time we're going to be in the desert, but it doesn't change too much. I mean, we're still Toad. We're just trying to run fast, but we have to dodge some more enemies, and we also have this Lakitu who's going to be throwing coins at us. Thankfully, he's not trying to murder me like most Lakitus do, and he's just being a friendly guy. I really appreciate it. Now, one important part of this level is we do want to get these red coins and then also that jump boost, and that's just going to make us go a lot faster. Like always, getting the start, it's just pretty much a good idea. I don't really think I have anything else I need to say about that. Then after that, it's just making it to the flagpole, and there we go, 3-1's done. Now in 3-2, it's time for the bullet bill level. And for this one, we're just going to have multiple bullet bills trying to murder us. A pretty normal Sunday for Toad. So I just want to jump through these different things and try my best not to get hit because of course that loses time. I don't really know if I even have to explain that anymore. But we do have this part as well where we can get some red coins. And like usual, that's going to give us a star and make us go a bit faster. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else I can say about this level. We're just running, we're Toad, and there we go, we made it to the end. But that does lead us into a cooler level with 3-3. Now for this one, you can see there are going to be multiple shells and also multiple cliffs that we can use for a little bit extra speed. We also have these jump things. I can go through there. I want to go the downward path so I get the other jump thing. And then we have this whole area where we're kind of just murdering a bunch of people. You know, some normal stuff. Now with this, I actually want to get hit by that guy, but for some reason it just didn't work. So that's going to lose us a bit of time, but it's not going to be too bad. And then in this area, these red coins are actually really hard to get because that second one can sometimes mess you up really badly. But thankfully we got all of them, and now we can just make it to the end of the level. I literally don't have to do anything. I'm walking on munchers. I can get a little bit more momentum and make it to the flagpole. And it's time for 3-4, which is going to be another Bowser level. Now, unluckily, I actually got hit right there, which is kind of annoying because we do want an extra mushroom for some safety later on. So what I can do is go and get this mushroom right there, and that'll just make sure that I don't die. And even better than that, we can use it for a strat when we're facing Bowser. Now for right here, I want to wait a little bit, just make sure I make it past all the fire. And you can see for this Bowser fight, there's also going to be a fire bar. Now I wanted the mushroom so I could just damage boost right through that, and I didn't have to take any extra time, making it to the end right away. So yeah, there we go. We're now halfway through the speedrun, and it's only going to get even better from here. So now we're going into 4-1, which is one of the most complicated levels in the game. Like right there, you saw me using the backwards jumps, but I kind of messed it up and had to fix it. That didn't lose me too much time, but it still isn't exactly what you want to see. Now I always want to be facing the right direction, because if we're facing the opposite direction, it's going to lose me a bit of time. So these jumps that you see are actually really precise, and I'm trying to do the best job possible. We can also make it through these saws, make sure we don't get hit by any of those, and then I'm just going to take this path and damage boost through that saw because we're going to get a mushroom right here. We can just go through this, and I actually really badly messed it up. Yeah, this is just kind of embarrassing, but we made it to the top. And look, I'm so far into the speedrun, I'm not going to reset here just because of that terrible mistake. But now let's move on to 4-2, which is going to be the slope level. Now, like I said before, slopes are really nice because they're going to give you extra speed, so we want to use them as much as possible, especially in this level. And we also want to get these red coins because, you know, it's a star. I don't know why I try to explain this every single time. We just get the red coins, we get the star. It's normal stuff, you get it by now. But after we run a little bit more, we're gonna get some more slope sections. And this part is actually really fun because we don't have to do anything. We just sit there for a second until we make it to the bottom, and we can do a cool trick where we just make it over that gap so we don't have to go in the cannon and waste any time. Then after that, it's just 5 of these slopes where we just kind of go, slide through all of them, and finally make it to the flag. Now next we have 4-3, which is going to be another caves level. This one isn't too bad because we're not going for any of the extra coins. We just have to make sure we don't get hit by these guys, which is a little bit harder than it may seem, and I actually did make a terrible mistake right there. Because I got hit by the piranha that plant by taking the bottom path. No matter how many times I've speedrun this game, I always make that mistake, and yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. But being Little Toad in this level isn't too bad because it's just not a very hard level. We do want to make sure we jump over that guy right there, and that's pretty much the only hard part of the level. But other than that, we're just not going to press that button, so none of these enemies are going to come after us. Yeah, we literally just skip the buttons and then jump over small gaps. But hey, that leads us to the flagpole and another level done. And it's time for another airship level, which is going to be 4-4. Now this one isn't too bad as long as you don't make any mistakes. We want to go as fast as possible the entire time, so we have the fire going at the right cycle. If we do make a tiny mistake, it can mess up the cycle that we're going for. But like I said, this level isn't too hard. You basically just have to run through, and we already made it to the end. And that's going to lead us into another one of these boss fights, but this time they added in fire things on the corners. Now the sad thing for the boss is they don't really help him at all. I literally just do the exact same thing as I did last time, and yeah, it only took 3 hits. At least he tried. And now it's time for 5-1, which is going to be Lakitu's revenge. And in this one, we want to make sure that we always have a star power-up. The star power-ups are going to be littered throughout the level, and as long as we always have one of them, we're going to be going as fast as possible. So like for that one, I want to make sure that I take the right path so I can make it all the way up there. And then we have all of these platforms, which of course we don't want to stand on for too long because that wastes time. We get some more stars right there. And yeah, it's pretty much just I always want to have a star, and that was also one of the dumbest mistakes I've ever made. But hey, who cares? We're almost done with the level. Some small mistakes are bound to happen here and there. Now we can get our last star right there, and it's pretty much just go throughout the level, make this jump, and we get the flagpole, finishing it out. So now it's time for 5-2, and this level can be hard if you don't do what you need to. As long as I'm taking the correct paths, I should be fine, but sometimes it's kind of easy to not take those paths and just get hit. So I'm just trying to make sure that I do everything correct. We can use that shell right there, jump off it, and unfortunately we do have to go through this cannon if we don't want to get hit by that guy. Then after this, I can just jump through all of these guys, have a couple more jumps that I have to make, but like I said, as long as we're taking the correct path, nothing bad should happen to us. So yeah, then we have this part. Again, just take the correct path, you won't die. And one more jump where we make it over this guy before not getting in that cannon, so we can just make it to the flagpole right away. And now in 5-3, it's going to be another boo level, and this one has some pretty cool strats. Like first, I'm going to want to take this key and then bubble so I can go right back down. That's going to save us a little bit of time, and is just a pretty cool strat. Then after that, we just basically have to go through here. The boo is in a really unlucky position, so I did get hit there, but we're just going to take the same path, get that key, and then we just have this part of the level as well, where I just have to jump through. And then I tried to do that backwards momentum thing there, but I just failed. So whatever, it doesn't lose too much time. I'm just going to go ahead, get this key, bubble my way back down, and then finally make it to the door. So yeah, there we go. Another boo level done. Now it's time for 5-4, which is going to be another Bowser level. And for this one, I just want to make sure I don't get hit by these rings of fire. So I just take the correct path. I go down right there, so we don't have to deal with that. And then I can get these red coins to get another star. It's just some pretty simple movement, and now we're going to be a lot more safe. It's always nice to just not have to worry about taking damage and also get that extra speed boost, so it's just nice in general. But finally we make it over to Bowser, and you can see that this time in front of him he has a ring of fire. So I want to wait that out so I can go right under it, and then we can make it to the axe, finishing him off. But of course he's not Bowser again, he's just a shell. Yeah, I don't know how all these enemies get themselves to look like Bowser, but it is pretty cool. Now next we have 6-1, which is going to be the land of spikes. And this level has some really cool strategies that you're going to be able to see. Now first of all, we're just going through trying to make sure that we don't get hit by any of them. Like in this area, it's really easy to get hit if you don't start jumping right away. And right here, we're going to want to not hit the cannon because that's going to waste time. And instead we can just kill the spike, and then his ball is going to disappear as well. Then we get some more red coins, and we're just going to want to make sure we get all of them just like usual, which is going to make the rest of this level a lot easier because we can do that jumping thing again to not go in the cannon, save some more time, and then yeah, we just kind of completely go through everybody's traps and make it to the end of the level. Which leads us to 6-2, which is going to be our last ghost house level. And of course we want to use the bubble strat again, but I actually messed it up and lost a ton of time. Well, I guess it really wasn't that much, but it was a tiny bit more than I would have wanted just because I didn't bubble fast enough. Now after that, we just want to make some quick jumps, go between the boosts so we don't get hit at all. And then we have this area where we want to skip this button press by using the backwards jumping thing, but unfortunately Unfortunately, I messed it up and did waste a tiny bit of time. Look, I was nervous, it was the end of the run, and this was actually a really good run. So the small time loss is naturally gonna happen, we're still going on. And it's time for the last airship level, which is also the most annoying airship level because we have all these Monty moles which try to throw stuff at us. You can also see I messed up there and I didn't want to get hit. So that was kind of sad, lost a bit of time, but it's better than getting hit because that can lose even more time. And you'll see that some of these Monty moles are going to throw wrenches, but some of them will throw coins. I don't know why some of them are so nice and some of them want to kill us, but I guess it's just what Monty moles do. It's not too bad though because we still do make it to the end pretty easily, and it's time to fight this boss one last time. But this time what changed about him is he can jump. So we want to correct our jumps to make sure we can hit him right away. Like for this one, I'm going to want to jump a bit higher, make sure I don't die, and do that one more time, which I actually missed the jump, but we can just correct it really quickly, and we didn't lose too much time. And now it's time for the last level, which of course is going to be a Bowser fight. But this one will be different because he has his clown car. Now to defeat Bowser in this fight, we basically have to hit him with his own bombs 3 times. And this fight is really annoying because it's all RNG for a lot of parts. Like you saw right there, he just threw his bomb in the worst possible position and he did it twice. Dude, I'm trying to speedrun and you're just wasting my time. But the 3rd time we can get it and we hit him right there. Now every time once you hit him, he will shoot 3 fireballs. So we just go to the bottom and they're very easy to dodge. And then after that, we just hope he uses some more bombs, which somehow missed him, which is actually ridiculous. So we have to get him with a 2nd shot. Yeah, this fight hasn't been going exactly perfectly, but we can finish it out after these 3 more fireballs. So at this point, you're just thinking, Bowser, please give me some bombs and please do not dodge them. But for some reason, Toad doesn't launch it. I think that's like a glitch where it just doesn't launch the enemy for some reason. But of course, that loses me time. He doesn't go to the right place, which loses me some more time. I get hit by a fireball, but finally, I'm able to actually hit him with the bomb, and we finish out time right there. Yeah, that was kind of a heartbreaking fight. At least Toad gets a kiss, though. And that's gonna make us finish with 17th place, which I'm pretty happy with. All right, thanks for watching. Subscribe.